Alright, so now we come to chapter 6 of The Two Towers, book 3, King of the Golden Hall. So you got Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas riding off to Edoras to go help out King Theoden. Um, and as they're going, they do happen to ride past the place where all the kings of Rohan are laid. There's mounds on each side of the road, 7 on one side, 9 on the other, for the 2 lines of the kings of Rohan that there are. Um, the first one ended with King Helm Hammerhand, and then the next line begins with his what was it? His nephew, I believe it is, becomes king, and then that's the line that we have with Theoden. Aragorn, of course, sings a little song in the language of Rohan. Of course, there is no translation of that in this book. We just get the English of it, the actual English. And where here Tolkien kind of plays with the Anglo-Saxon poem "The Wanderer" a little bit, and yeah, he did. You do see with all the names in here. Again, you see that he based the language of Rohan on Anglo-Saxon, but that does not mean that the Rohirrim represent the Anglo-Saxons, because a big difference, as I've said before, is that the Anglo-Saxons did not have horses. Obviously, the Rohirrim do. And of course, Tolkien's not writing allegory of the Anglo-Saxons here at all. He just kind of uses their language for the language of Rohan. Like, you come across the name of a plant that or flower that grows on these mounds called Simbelmene, which from an Anglo-Saxon, you got Simbel, which means basically continual, perpetual, and Mene, which means mind. So the English translation that he gives of this flower is Evermind. But anyway, they come to Edoras, and of course, King Theoden is under basically Saruman's spell. Grima Wormtongue, his counselor, of course, is working for Saruman, and he's been using him to kind of control the king. Because when they come to the doors, they're told you can't take your weapons inside. Gandalf, you can't take your staff. Of course, Gandalf kind of tricks him into bringing in the staff, which, of course, there's a reason why Wormtongue doesn't want him to have his staff in there. Of course, Aragorn is reluctant to put his sword to the side, but he does do so. But he tells them that if anyone but Elendil's heir draws this sword out of this sheath, something bad's going to happen. So they just lay it to the side. They don't touch it. And they go in, and just like in the movie, he goes in and he exposes Grima Wormtongue. He doesn't really cast Saruman out of Theoden like you see in the movie. All he does is takes Theoden outside into the fresh air and into the sunlight. And that's what heals him. And of course, they get rid of Wormtongue, and so then there's some more differences between the book and the movie that I'm going to talk about right quick. The next difference is that Theoden listens to Gandalf's advice, and so he wants to go to war. And at the end of the chapter, that's what they do. They ride off to war. And Theoden, of course, is riding to war knowing that he could possibly die. But Gandalf has brought him hope. He's brought them hope. And of course, hope's sitting next to Gandalf. It's Aragorn here. And so they're gonna go to Isengard and fight Saruman. Another difference is, Gandalf leaves to go find Éomer. Not so in here. Gandalf stays with them for a little bit, and he doesn't leave in this chapter. He leaves in the next one when they're already on their way to Isengard. And Éomer is actually there with them. He was actually in prison, and when Gandalf, heals Theoden in here, he has Éomer brought out of prison. Éomer brings, Theoden's sword to him. And there you go. And so now they're off to go fight the evil Saruman, who, has betrayed them and joined up with Sauron, even though, of course, Saruman's out for himself. He wants the ring. You don't want Sauron to have it. And so he's deceiving Sauron even. And I bet when Sauron finds out, he's not going to be too happy. But anyway, there is the King of the Golden Hall. So, hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one, and we will talk about the Battle of Helm's Deep.